So recently, due to things like Gear 5 fighting both Kaido and Lucci with crazy animation, it seems like once again that One Piece power scaling conversations have taken over the general power scaling community. More importantly for this video, I saw people debating over who wins between the main antagonist of the last arc, Kaido, and Krillin from Dragon Ball. So today, I thought I'd do more than just cover who wins between Krillin and Kaido specifically, and go over what would happen if the strongest Earthling martial artist took on the entire known world of One Piece. I think this matchup is pretty appropriate given how literally both the main character Luffy and Krillin have the same voice actor. Either way, would Krillin's power and skill allow him to solo every pirate and marine on the planet, or would the sheer variety of powers and abilities be too much for the bald-headed battler? Let's find out, but spoiler alert for whoever's gonna win this, it's not close. If you do like this kind of stuff, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's jump right in. For this video, we'll be starting off with going over Krillin's power and his progression throughout the series so we can understand how his strength has developed over time and different cross-verse metrics for his ability. So let's start with original Dragon Ball and go from there. For pretty much all of OG Dragon Ball, Krillin is consistently portrayed as being inferior to Goku in ability, but demonstrating his own unique potential unlike really any other character. His main talent seems to be his capacity to keep up with characters far beyond his ability using skill, clever tactics, and eventually skillful ki manipulation. We see this multiple times throughout the story as he manages to hold his own against stronger fighters like Jackie Chun, Piccolo, and even Goku. Each and every time, Krillin manages to impress them and in some instances almost beat them. For example, Krillin manages to adapt to Jackie Chun's speed and knocks him out of the ring, taking advantage of his certain personal weaknesses. Against Goku in the 22nd Budokai, he would have outright won their match if Goku had not trained his tail to become resistant to being grabbed. Battling against Krillin for the first time in 23rd Budokai made Piccolo Jr. feel doubt about conquering the world for the first time, sheerly from Krillin's skill and talent. This is insanely impressive, as at this point Krillin's power level is less than 206, but he's able to at least partially pressure characters whose power levels are substantially beyond 260. Entering Dragon Ball Z, Krillin really locks in when it comes to training and increasing his power. He goes from barely over 200 to almost 1,800 by training with Kami, essentially multiplying his power level by 9 in less than a year, surpassing Raditz, the guy who had forced Goku to die in order to beat him. This is even more impressive given the early exponential nature of power levels, so in actuality, Krillin got more than 9 times stronger during this time. Either way, with a power level exceeding 1,000, Krillin is easily a moonbuster at this point, as he is superior to both the likes of Piccolo from only a couple months before, as well as max power Master Roshi. Despite this being an already insane increase in power, the Namek Saga would only continue to skyrocket Krillin's strength to proportionally insane levels. We get several checkpoints of Krillin's power throughout Namek, as his strength grows from not only having his potential unlocked, but also getting power increases almost like a Saiyan does, as he continues to develop in response to the increasingly powerful opponents he faces. By the time Krillin battles the Ginyu Force, he is objectively already beyond the power of a Planet Buster, having gotten more than 7 times stronger with a power level of, 13,000. This exceeds the 10,000 that is stated by El Manga Legendario as capable of destroying a planet. But Krillin wasn't anywhere near done, as by the time the Z Fighters were taking on Frieza, Krillin's power level had once again multiplied by approximately 7 times, as recorded power level is 75,000, making him stronger than every member of the Ginyu Force with ease besides Ginyu himself. Depending on what it means to be a quote planet buster by this definition, increasing by 7 times puts Namek Krillin at dwarf star level of power. Unfortunately though, after this point, we can't rely on power levels to measure the strength of characters, and at the same time, Krillin falls out the story as a major participant in fights. We see this clearly when Krillin literally can't do anything against the likes of Perfect Cell, or the androids for that matter. In the manga for the Buu Saga, the same thing is true, as Krillin is told to leave by Goku as he's out of his element, and unfortunately gets turned to stone by Dabura, essentially meaning there's no way to assert he got any quantifiably stronger than his 75,000 dwarf star level. However, using the anime continuity, the human characters are a lot stronger. Firstly, we see Yamcha taking on and pretty much beating Olibu and Gorilla at the same time. This is the same Olibu who is capable of fighting evenly with base form Pikkon, who could literally one-shot Super Perfect Cell. This is important as by the time of Dragon Ball Super, Krillin is way stronger and is stated multiple times to be the strongest Earthling, which is pretty clear given how he's chosen over Yamcha to participate in the Tournament of Power. This means that Krillin at this point easily exceeds the likes of Super Perfect Cell, putting his power beyond solar system busting. This is pretty consistent given how Krillin can somewhat manage to hold his own against Cell Max. And while his power level varies and is inconsistent, I think it's reasonably clear that Krillin, not to be instantly splatted by this robot, has to be at least fractionally comparable to him, even if it's a very small fraction, which honestly might be enough to just instantly get Krillin to outright universal. Of course, this would also translate to his speed, as he'd be bare minimum massively faster than light speeds from like a million different calcs or scales. So, can One Piece compare with this level of power? There are like a million One Piece characters, so obviously it's going to be a waste of time going over every single dude, and for the sake of not appearing biased, I'm going to give One Piece scaling some really big benefits of the doubt, and not apply much scrutiny to any of the calcs for the verse. Please understand this is not where I think the characters actually scale, and I'll give my actual honest opinion of their strength of the verse at the end of the section. For attack potency of the relevant characters who are Yonko or Admiral level, Whitebeard is stated capable of destroying the One Piece world. Now, obviously the Earth and One Piece is not the same as our own and is clearly larger. The problem is that no one seems to agree on how large it actually is, and there are dozens of different calcs using all sorts of different methods, like the model of the Earth here, or the movements of Janisha, to the river in Alabasta. I've seen everything from large planet level to large star level for the size of the planet, so we'll just grant Whitebeard and anyone else on his level of power this large star level of power. Given how not many people actually scale to this, we'll just say everyone else is, I don't know, basic planetary, just for a nice baseline. Speed will also just give the super extreme benefit of the doubt. There's a couple calc stacking threads that get Luffy to hundreds to tens of thousands of times faster than light, so we'll just assume these are 100% correct and literally have no issues with any fallacious logic, mistranslation, or purposeful misrepresentation of any info. Keep in mind that this highest end only applies to a very small handful of characters, being characters like the strongest entities in the world government, the Marines, and the world of pirates. At most, it's like maybe 15 characters who are comparable, most of which are entirely off of implication rather than direct scaling or feats. So in just a direct comparison of speed and strength, even while highballing One Piece and taking lower ends for Krillin, he's massively faster and stronger than every single pirate and marine in the verse, meaning that without exaggeration he could fly through all of them before they could even react, one-shotting everyone. Again, this is me taking the highest end. I really think One Piece is way closer to that like continental to like iron level of power for most characters, which puts the gap for Krillin just that much higher. Now, many people who may be familiar with One Piece or power scaling may be saying, hey, Lonk, what about the hacks of One Piece? With some Devil Fruit abilities, they may be able to one-shot Krillin, or with Logia, they'd be immune to his attacks. But is this actually true? You've probably seen the "no hockey though" meme, in which Logia users are supposedly immune to every attack if it's not enhanced by hockey, but against any other verse, this just isn't true, especially Dragon Ball. Key attacks from as far back as at least the 23rd Budokai are able to destroy things on the atomic level. Given how Krillin is almost infinitely stronger than Goku and Piccolo at that time, it's safe to say that he can do the same thing, meaning that Logia users are just getting atomized from a Ki Blast, a level of regeneration they've never been shown to have. Furthermore, there are some strong Devil Fruits like Sugars or Bonnies that might be able to defeat Krillin through transforming him rather than directly damaging him or overpowering him. However, we've seen that Devil Fruit powers can be outright overpowered and negated, and given that Krillin has a higher power than anyone in One Piece, and hacks can be overpowered in Dragon Ball, he could easily do the same, even if they somehow managed to touch him. Finally, there's Luffy himself, and more importantly, Gear 5. Some people think that with its gag powers, Luffy is some sort of invincible cartoon character like Bugs Bunny. While clearly this form has limitations, it honestly has worse gag abilities than what Krillin has shown. For example, in the Buu Saga, he directly breaks the fourth wall and talks with Toriyama and the reader while Gotenks is fusing, which is a more impressive gag feat than anything Gear 5 has ever done. So yeah, pretty much no matter which way you cut it, and in every single metric, Krillin absolutely destroys One Piece. Never compare Krillin to the big three, but if you want, I can put Krillin up against the Naruto verse and the Bleach verse too, but it's going to be equally bad for both of them as well.
I also just want to thank the channel members who helped support the channel and got to see this video early. Videos like this are way easier because of you guys.
Anyways, as always, thank you for watching, and if you disagree with my takes, let me know how I was wrong in the comments down below. See ya!